and welcome to this weekend's qualification report for Seattle Supercross, where I give you a 10-minute summary of today's 3-hour-long qualifying sessions. All right, guys, prepare for a thrilling night of racing as the 450 Class Championship is unfolding. It's still tight. Jett hasn't run away with it yet, and tonight is the conditions that his competitors need to defeat him. He has proven in the past, at least so far in his career, that the mud isn't exactly his friend. So it's either a make or break night for him. He either shows that he is a perfect racer, no one can touch him, or that mud is his weakness. So that's up to him tonight. We'll see how it is. Like I mentioned, the rain. It has rained in Seattle most of the week. I'll show you a video on screen right now. Most of the past week it's been rainy and actually like 10, 15, 20 degrees in Seattle, so it's been pretty crappy. I think it's still cold there to get today. I think it's like 40 degrees. So chilly, but surprisingly the track is shaping up really well, as you'll see in the video later on. It's slick, but around the second session it began taking shape. I think as long as the weather holds out, the race will be fine tonight. All right, before we get into this video, first let me tell you about my sponsor, Blood Lubricants. You can see me, I'm all blooded up. They've got all sorts of premium oil and lubricant products, everything from motocross to UTV to basic engine oil for your daily driver. They have oil, chain lube, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So they sponsor me, and they sponsor a bunch of privateers. They're a great company. They put money back into the sport. So support them. Head to bloodlubricants.com and use my code TMN25 to get 25% off site-wide. All right, I got to stick one more quick ad in here before we get into the video. I've only got a few more copies of issue number 7 of my magazine. You guys absolutely did incredible ordering these and supporting me this issue. It's the most support I've ever gotten on my magazine so far into it. So thanks to all of you who got it. If you haven't, links in the description, themxnetwork.com. Snag a copy or become a MagPass subscriber and get all of them for the year. All right, that's it. Let's get into the video. All right, 250 qualifying session number 1. Now, normally I don't focus on the B sessions, but Michael Mosiman re-entered the sport. He kind of disappeared for like a year. He recently announced that he signed with Star Racing Yamaha, which was rumored for a while, but finally confirmed, and he's here this weekend. Despite his recent ankle injury and just hopping on the new bike, he showcased impressive speed and resilience during this B session. He quickly claimed the top spot, as expected, and demonstrated excellent rhythm despite some minor overjumps and slight crashes here and there. He fell in the sand section, and even that didn't prevent him from acquiring the fastest lap time of 51:083. Credit also goes to Lux Turner and Dylan Walsh, a couple small privateer riders. I think they're on small teams, not privateer, sorry, who finished second and third fastest, respectively. They are making a comeback after being injured at Anaheim 1 and obviously are ready to compete tonight. Now, on to Group A session, lap times were slightly slower as it got really ruddy from the B session, but they gradually improved as it went on. The slick conditions didn't cause any major disruptions, and the riders seemed to handle it pretty well. Even the rhythm sections, as you can see on screen, there were some kickers developing, but they seemed to handle it pretty well. Still a fast track, not too muddy. Overall, the session was relatively uneventful, kind of boring. The checker flag waved. It was Levi Kitchen who emerged as the fastest in the session, 52:798. So that's slower than Michael Mosiman. That leaves him in second place behind him. All right, on to the 450 class. In the first session, Jett Lawrence eventually found his momentum and secured the top position with only 2 minutes left, surpassing Cooper Webb by approximately 0.2 of a second. Sexton swiftly responded with a 53:183, but Lawrence regained the lead with 52:603. However, it was Eli Tomac who ultimately triumphed in the end. He waited for the track to clear and aggressively tackled the challenge and recorded the 52:325, the fastest lap of the session. He also showcased a unique line in the longest rhythm section, going 3:33, which wasn't attempted by anyone else, so that was pretty cool to see. This approach not only looked fast, but also allowed him to avoid all those deep ruts on those takeoffs that everyone else was using. So smart moves by Tomac. He's looking good tonight. And as anticipated, the track is developing deep ruts all across the place, especially between the jumps and on the faces where the vast majority of riders are hitting them. These treacherous ruts have riders dragging their pegs during launch already, so it's going to be pretty rough tonight. Fortunately, there hasn't been any rain since early this morning, so hopefully it stays fine, maintains its shape, and they can keep it safer than last weekend especially. All right, on to the 250 overall in the second B session. Michael Mosiman maintained his swift pace from the beginning, consistently improving his laps. However, his session's pace was slower than the first, obviously, as ruts developed. His first session was the first one of the day, so it was mint. So he obviously wasn't going to beat that. He did have a minor tip over as he exited the whoop section and slipped out on the wall jump, but nothing major. All right, on to the A group. Ryder DiFrancesco faced challenges. He pulled off the track early for an issue and later had to ride with his seat in hand after it came off the bike. This is a rare occurrence. Doesn't really happen that often. Despite the setbacks, DiFrancesco managed to recover and logged some fast laps to qualify 7th fastest. Not too bad considering all of that. Joe Shimoda dominated the session, though, remaining at the top throughout and finishing 0.34 seconds ahead of Jordon Smith. The final 250 qualifier provided to be more challenging than the first, obviously, as numerous riders, including Hampshire, Thrasher, Yoder, and others crashed during the session. It got really rough on top of the slick conditions. Kind of sketchy out there already. All right, let's now take a look at the top 10 final results for the 250 class. First place, Michael Mosiman. Second place, Levi Kitchen. Third place, Joe Shimoda. Lux Turner, surprisingly, fourth, but again, that is due to the mint track conditions of the first B session of the day. Jordon Smith, fifth. RJ Hampshire, sixth. Nate Thrasher, seventh. Dylan Walsh, eighth, again, due to that B session. Ninth, Garrett Marchbanks. 10th, Anthony Burden, the Frenchman. Incredible ride from him already. I'm looking forward to this race tonight. It's going to be a good one. All right, now let's take a look at the 450 overall. The second qualifying session kicked off with a gate drop, as they always do, and Jett Lawrence surged ahead, only to run wide in the first turn, allowing Webb to sneak up the inside and take off. However, Lawrence quickly found his rhythm and claimed the top spot, with his brother, Hunter, close behind. Initially, it seemed like the Lawrence brothers would dominate the session, but Eli Tomac had other plans and stepped up and broke into the 52-second range with a 52.647. Didn't last long, though. Webb then surpassed him with a 52.352, and when Lawrence tried to reclaim the lead, he came up about 0.2 of a second short. Unwavering, as he always is, Lawrence went back to work and ultimately secured the fastest 450 lap of the day. The 2.333 line throughout the longest rhythm lane, first discovered by Tomac, as I mentioned earlier, appeared more challenging this session. Many riders considered it, but ultimately decided against it because of how dangerous it was, but Jett Lawrence executed it flawlessly. Most laps, it was evident that he was studying the line. He would even go off the track and analyze it, take a look at things. Lawrence also continued to excel in the whoop section. Most guys jumped it, but Jett had him down. It's no surprise that Jett Lawrence is poised for a strong performance tonight. Hopefully he can keep it on two wheels. If he does that, he's mastered the 450 already, and these guys are going to have to take a hard look at themselves tonight. Let's now take a look at the final top 10 results for the 450 class. Jett came out on top, like I mentioned, just ahead of Tomac and Cooper Webb closely behind him. Then they started to have a bigger gap in times, as you can see from there on. Chase Sexton, 4th. Jason Anderson, 5th. Hunter Lawrence close behind in 6th. Aaron Plessinger, 7th. Justin Barsha, 8th. Surprising for him. He's been struggling all year. Justin Cooper, 9th. Adam Cianciarulo, 10th. Now, there were a few guys who are typically top 10 contenders who were not in the top 10 in qualifying today, which was odd to see. One of those being Ken Roczen. He did have some struggles in one of the sessions. I don't remember. It was either first or first. It might have been first session. Anyway, yeah, struggle bus for Ken Roczen. Hopefully he can pick that up tonight. But yeah, that's all I've got for today's qualifying report. What do you guys think? Who will come out on top today? Will Jett finally defeat the muddy conditions, his only enemy left? Or will Eli finally get his first one of the year? How about 250s? Can Mosiman shock us in his debut on Star Yamaha and get a win right off the bat? Or will Kitchen continue his consistency? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.